Welcome to the Chamber Members Podcast. Today's special guest is Sam Shaheen with Remax Crossroads. During this episode, we'll get to hear how Sam can help you find that perfect house and property, and some great industry tips. We'll be right back. First, a shout out to SBS Consulting Systems for supporting this week's episode. If your business needs to implement some technology integration, process improvements, or just need some IT support, reach out to my friend Sean Hedrick at SBS Consulting Systems. They want your problems. Sam, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's great seeing you guys this morning.
Welcome.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. I feel like I see you at all the chamber events. Pretty integrated.
Yeah, I kind of show up every once in a while.
I remember last year when I first started, I was trying to go to every single one, which is a lot sometimes, five during the week, but I'll see, like at least three of them, I remember.
Well, when you're in real estate, you have to have your name out.
Yeah, you do.
And that's a great way to get it out there.
It is, and I always want to be able to help people. So if I'm accessible, it's easy for people to say something to me.
Very true.
Yeah.
So, can you share us a little bit about your experience with the chamber and, kind of how you got started in it, and how it's worked for you?
I started in the chamber a little over 20 years ago, actually. Started in the tip clubs, like many people do. Yeah. Started going to the other events and stuff. As I grew and such, I actually got a little concerned with the way things were happening. So I went to the former COO, Stephen Meeks, and said, "Steve, we need to fix this." And he goes, "Okay, I got an idea for you." So I was appointed or drafted into the ambassador committee, and I now chair that. The ambassador committee is kind of like the customer service department, if you will, for the chamber, and we reach out to members and try and help them get more out of their chamber membership.
That's great.
That's so helpful to have a trusted person with you, kind of guiding you through the process and letting you know where you can get your best benefits from the Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You have quite a few people involved now, ambassadors, don't you?
We try and keep to around 12.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So we bounce up and down around that number.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I know you've been a realtor for years now. What got you into the industry?
Well, I was coming out of the moving and storage industry. I wanted something that was somewhat related. I ran into a broker in a networking group, not chamber, and she said, "You'd be great for real estate." And I started thinking about it. And the more I thought about it, I think, it makes some sense. And for me, at that point in my career, it was the thing I needed to do. And It's fun. I got to tell you, I have more fun doing this job than any other job I've ever had in my whole life. It's just a ball working with people. I love it.
It doesn't feel like a job when you're having fun.
No,
you never work
part of your life, right?
Never work a day in your life.
That's awesome. So what do you think was the hardest part with getting started in realty?
Well, in the real estate business, if you're an individual agent working with a broker, you've got to learn not only the business itself, but how to develop the business. And they told me right up front, it'll take 5 years to develop your business. And while I had a really, really good year, the year before last year was terrible because it was a real estate recession. And we are now done with the recession. And oh my God, I'm so excited for this coming year. I mean, there's so much that's going to be coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great time to get involved in real estate.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know Remax is a national company, right?
International.
International. They're all over the place.
They're the largest.
They're the largest.
The largest in the world.
They have the largest balloon, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the Remax name as long as I can remember.
Sure.
They're huge. But I'm sure you still have to develop, like you said, your local clients. Like you're responsible for developing your own connections and
Absolutely.
And building those relationships and developing your local market. What has been like the best form of advertising for you, or is it networking? Like what's kind of driven your success?
Networking is definitely a number one on the list, and I do a ton of it, as you guys have already indicated. I also I do some Facebook, Instagram, that kind of stuff on social media. That's also important for us.
Name recognition and keep you top of mind. Yeah.
But the biggest thing is every time I talk to somebody, I bring up real estate.
Yeah. Right.
That's awesome.
would imagine that, well, I know that real estate's a very competitive industry. How do you tackle competition? Or I guess, what do you focus on to kind of set you apart from your competition? I think you've alluded to some of that, but.
Yeah, well, it's not as competitive as you think it is. There's a ton of realtors out there, and I don't know what the percentage would be, but a ton of those realtors are what I would call part-time or not committed, not engaged, if you will.
Yeah.
Especially in the last few years, things were really, really good. A couple 3 years ago,
Yeah.
they all jumped in. Oh, I can make a bunch of money here. Then they figured out how hard it is. It's not an easy business. And what's worked for me, what's happened for me is that, again, back to the networking thing. I just get my name out there. I let people know I'm here, and people call. I do use some lead services and stuff. Once I get in with a client, it's all about personality. Do they like my personality? Do they trust me? Do they feel that I'm going to do a good job for them? And as long as I'm doing those things for them, they'll stick with me. And the competition angle is kind of not important. Yeah, every once in a while I will lose a potential client to a competitor, but it's just part of the game.
Well, and your years of experience probably help to set you apart too, because you've been through that process, you've seen it before, and can kind of guide people. A lot of times people in looking for a new property don't know kind of what they're doing and need that help, and really having a trusted advisor with them makes all the sense in the world.
I do a ton of hand holding.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, people don't realize what's involved in a real estate transaction. They assume that once they have an accepted offer, the process is over. Oh no, that's the halfway point.
Right.
Okay. And to walk into a real estate transaction without an experienced, trusted advisor is foolish. I mean, when you have something wrong, like with your foot or something, do you go to a doctor? Sure. You have a professional. If you have a legal issue, you go to a lawyer, right? You should have, as part of your team, a professional realtor who knows what they're doing. And when I get somebody into a property, I don't stop. I mean, I continuously touch base with them and continue to build the relationship. And when either they have another need, which a lot of times you'd be surprised that people will, or if they have a friend that has a need, then that too is where I get a lot of my business. I work on a referral basis.
Makes sense.
I know some agents kind of focus on helping buyers find a home, and other agents help buyers just list homes. Do you do both, or what's kind of your focus?
Yeah, I do both. I can't wrap my head around the idea of somebody buying a house and not letting me sell their old place. I mean,
Kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it's a hand in. And if I've built up my trust the proper way, then that's going to happen. Not only do I work with basic residential type stuff that everybody thinks about, but I work with a lot of investors and help them get into properties that they use as a real estate investment. Real estate investing is an incredibly profitable way to invest your money.
Now, is that for like just single homes? You do duplexes, multi? What kind of properties do you have connections to?
I'll do any kind.
Okay.
My biggest deal is 18 doors, if you will. We call them doors. Okay. So it's it's not one building, it's 18 different buildings. But that is a commercial deal in our world. Anything over 4 is considered a commercial deal.
Okay.
And I'm helping navigate that whole thing. It's been a 3-month process. It's not fast. It's not easy, but I'm helping the guy get through that process. I do private placements as well. So if something that's not on market, I can find that kind of stuff too. So yeah.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
So what kind of area do you cover? I know Canton, but what other areas around do you cover?
I consider my basic area to be Stark and Summit counties.
Okay.
However, I have sold in any of the contiguous counties around. So I've done deals down in Tuscarawas County, up in Medina,
Nice.
wherever.
The work takes you. Yeah.
Well, it's based upon the client.
Yeah.
If it's somebody I know, somebody that, like a chamber member or something like that wants me to go outside of the 2-county area, I'm game for that.
Nice.
So yeah, that's kind of the way I play it.
So I know the inventory market for housing was pretty tight the last couple of years. You say it's really coming around now. You think there's gonna be a lot more on the market? People are willing to make the move, or?
Yeah, when I looked earlier this week, we had about 1,000 homes in the 2-county area. Last year, at the same point in time, we were around 750. So there's a lot more houses out there. I would still say there's an inventory challenge. And the reason there is because older people have held on to their houses. Part of it is the interest rate thing. Part of it, probably a bigger part of it, is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I mean, anytime you turn on the news, all you hear is crap. And I'll tell you what, you should turn off the news. I don't even listen to these people, right? But that's kind of held people back. At the same point in time, interest rates have gone up. So that has affected the market, and that's helped with the inventory because we only had 4.3 million sales in the United States last year. That is the lowest rate in over 30 years. So it was just a terrible. The real estate recession's over. That's the good news. And I'm expecting to boom this year because there's a ton of pent up demand. There's people, the primary reason that people want to move is to be closer to family. Okay. But part of that is I've outgrown my house, or the house is too big for me. Sometimes there's a job placement or a death in the family, unfortunately, issue that would cause somebody to do something. But it's predominantly about family. And we have a lot of people out there who've just kind of waited. Don't want to lose my interest rate. I am a little scared right now. All those different reasons. And they're starting to feel the need. They've got to do something type thing,
So you think this year's going to be good? Do you think next year's going to be better after kind of the election anxiety is over, and that usually seemed to be the case?
Well, election years have a tendency to be good financial years because the government is working to get the boss reelected. Okay, so
money's moving.
I think we're going to see that. But I think the bigger thing is the pent-up demand, okay? There's not only the pent-up demand from people who haven't done something that feel they should, their knees have given out, so they can't do the steps anymore, or that baby that's, been crying and then, oh, wait, there's a second one on the way, all that stuff. But the other thing is we're coming on the largest population wave that we've seen in any years since the baby boom and since the baby boom generation, because what we're seeing now is that generation, their children are coming in the market. People buy when they're between 30 and 35 years old. They get to their first house, and that population trend right now is super strong. So we're going to see a lot of activity. The first part of the year is still going to be a little bit like last year. If you're going to buy, now is the time, because if you wait, you're going to get in the middle of the mess when everybody else comes out in the second half of the year and realizes, now's the time to do something. So what we're trying to do is fill a pipeline, and we're trying to get, I'm looking actually more for people that want to list properties than want to buy properties right now, because I want to fill that pipeline so we have inventory to sell.
Nice.
What's the best way for people to reach out to you if they're interested?
Simply give me a call.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
So are there any industry tips you'd like to share?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that people have to realize that real estate has a tendency to raise at about 5% per year right now. So it's a great, great investment. Okay. If you buy a house and you think you overpaid, well, first off, that's probably a mental thing. Anything, it's in your own mind type thing. But even if you do, with the 5% annual increase, that's compounded, and that difference is going to go away pretty fast. So it's also just a great place to park your money. And they'll always tell you that real estate's a good place to park your money. So we're trying to get people, into homes. And then if they're leaving a house, they want to keep it. Okay, well, we'll help them. We'll advise them on how to manage it as a rental property or something like that. Again, I try and be a full service type person. The field is wide enough but narrow enough that I can be pretty full service without diluting the value of my service.
I just want to thank you. You were one of the first people that I met starting at the chamber, and then you introduced me to the B&I world also. And I just really appreciate that. It helped me expand my network and helped me feel welcome. And I just really appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome. I appreciate both of you guys because you've been around. You've been great supporters of the chamber. You've been great supporters in the community, and you do good business. That's important.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today, Sam.
Glad to be here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So up next, we have our business tip of the week brought to you by SBS Consulting Systems.
Hi, everyone. Sean Hetrick, SBS Consulting Systems. This week's business tip of the week, I really want to touch on optimization. I've been able to help quite a few companies really be able to scale their business, to be able to save time, to be able to save money, to be able to, automate a certain aspect of a job that frees you up to do other things within the business. So really, as you're looking with the start of the year at your systems and processes, your invoicing, your payables, how people request purchase orders, those type of things, look for ways to take it more automated. And we can come in and take a look at it and help write some software to do that, or there are many solutions out there. So if you have any questions about that, just give SBS Consulting Systems a call. Thank you.
Sean, thanks for the business tip. Appreciate it. Well, folks, don't forget to visit the Canton Chamber website at cantonchamber.org. See all the great things they have going on. See how you can get connected. A lot of events coming up. Tip clubs every week. Usually have monthly meetings too. So
there's a business after hours on the 7th. It's at the Brew Wall at Bueller's in Jackson Township.
All right.
Quick Connect next month is Amanda Bridenstine. She's currently Vice President of Development at Malone College, or Malone University, excuse me. But the interesting thing is she's got her fingers in some AI startup companies, and she's going to talk about that. And I think that's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, that'd be great. Quick Connect.
And then the Business Expo's coming at the end of the month. It's on the 29th.
February,
Yep.
Awesome.
Nice. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.